World Citizen Peace is dedicated to empowering people to create a just and peaceful world. World Citizen Peace offers 3 pathways to peace: by joining as an international peace site, becoming a peace ambassador, and supporting peace education in our homes, schools, and in the wider community. The purpose of peace education is to help us become more mindful about peace in our daily lives, provide ideas and resources for peace action, and learn from peacemakers in the world so that together we can create cultures of peace where we live and work. World Citizen Pathways are grounded firmly in our 5 peace actions. Seek peace within yourself and others. Reach out in service. Protect the environment. Respect diversity. Be a responsible citizen of the world. In this video, we explore the peace action, Be a Responsible Citizen of the World. I'll be your peace guide, Julie Lillie. Go ahead and grab something to write down your reflections, your ideas, and your learning, and let's dive right in. A common mentality rooted in competition and fear is us versus them. A viewpoint that places people and even our environment as the other. Being a responsible citizen of the world means that we help create a mentality of simply we. A we mentality values world citizenship and sees how we are all interconnected on this planet. It is not about giving up your individuality. However, world citizenship calls for people to come together to share and have all voices be heard, valued, and honored, which in return provides us an opening for us to develop solutions to our global problems. Being a responsible citizen of the world means that we recognize our link as humans and our environment, and that this link may go beyond planet Earth as well. This peace action invites us to share connection and empathy for all life. A world system that works for all inhabitants of this planet is possible when we utilize all the people and resources available to our imagination, creativity, and problem solving. Before we explore more, let's take a moment to pause and reflect. How does an us versus them mentality show up in your life or in your community? What are your thoughts and feelings about world citizenship? Can you imagine a truly collaborative and reciprocal world system? What creative possibilities might address concerns or barriers to this? Please feel free to pause this video as you need. Being a responsible citizen of the world begins with one's own inner peace. As the Dalai Lama wrote in a tweet, actually, the creation of a more peaceful and happier society has to begin with the level of the individual, and from there can be expanded to one's family, neighborhood, community, and so on. As we seek peace within, then we can extend our ideas, support, and skills to help bring peace in our outer world. Each level of humanity holds concerns for the forms of harm, aggression, and violence that currently exist within it. All levels of humanity can also pursue peace, which will allow us to be a responsible citizen of the world. Let's take a closer look at the levels of humanity and the pursuits of peace. And as we do, consider how you engage within the level of humanity in terms of pursuing peace. Intrapersonal is internal. It's holding a sense of calm, harmony, your inner peace, and an effort of living sustainably with the earth. Interpersonal is with others. That's when we're listening and considering other viewpoints and resolving conflict through negotiation or collaboration, and we're really starting to think about the collective good. At the institutional level of humanity, this is where we resolve our conflicts through democratically developed techniques and start having more organizational structures that embody peace. And then at the cultural level of humanity, you can think about images of peace in text, media, art, different spaces, and really actively opposing the glorification of violence. At the national level, we can ensure that there's equitable access to resources for all people's basic needs and rights, and we can exhibit care and compassion and respect for all life. And at the global level of humanity, that's really about respecting the sovereignty of nations as well as the universal human and nature rights. We might manage conflicts through these balanced and peaceful methods that show up in other levels of humanity at the global level as well. So let's take another moment to pause and reflect. At the intrapersonal level, so the self level, how do you hold a sense of calm and harmony within? What supports your inner peace? The foundations, after all, for peace in the world. And as you consider the levels of humanity, how do you or might you engage with pursuing peace at each level? As always, pause the video as you need. Harm, aggression, and violence, in its many forms, exist in a very large part due to the systems and structures holding it in place. Think about the many isms, like racism, that uphold and perpetuate inequities, injustices, and the continuation of civil violence. You can also think about like classism and sexism. When individuals choose the love of power over others, our social systems and structures become rigid and harmful, ultimately benefiting those few who wish to keep and gain power over others. When a person's needs are not being met, this leads to types of violence on the individual, community, cultural, institutional, national, and global level. Developmental trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder are results and causes of violence. Violence in its many forms is a public health issue and is something peace education and being a global citizen can help change. There are many theories as to the root causes of aggression and violence in our world. For example, aggression or violence may occur when a person's wants, rights, needs are not being met or addressed. I invite you to think about how harm and aggression and violence show up in your life and the possible root causes for this. Let's take another moment to pause and reflect. Make an accounting of the types of violence you view and experience day to day. Observe, wonder, and become consciously aware of the many encounters you have that present harm, hurt, conflict, bullying, aggression, violence, or war. Notice and perhaps take notes on the presence of varied types and levels of violence in the news, media, books, any of the kind of consumption you have, music, magazines, games, podcasts, TV, social media, and look at your daily experiences and interactions. As you consider all of this, and it's a lot to consider, what are possible root causes for the harm, aggression, and violence that shows up in your life and your community? Even if you do not directly work with children or youth, you carry an impact on future generations through your role modeling. After all, we are all interconnected. Let's explore how this peace action might be experienced with learners. Educators, families, and communities play a crucial role in helping foster a culture of peace that ultimately impacts all levels of humanity. For example, a child who holds a sense of inner peace and self-love will be less likely to self-harm or to bully others. And likewise, a child who has strategies and skills for peacemaking and values them will be less likely to engage in violence in their school and neighborhood when a conflict arises, and can also aid in resolving it. A child who treasures the basic needs and rights of all humans and our natural world will grow up to help remove and change practices, systems, and structures that exist solely as a means to maintain control and power. I call those isms. A child who has experienced aggression, violence, or trauma can find personal and collective healing through the peace actions, pursuits, and practices. When we use our ingenuity, action, and care for all to fully address the core issues at a global level, we can continue our transformation into a peaceful world and way of being. Peace education can have the power to help people end cycles of harm and to heal and create a just and peaceful world. Being a responsible citizen of the world is in alignment with being a social justice advocate. This peace action, be a responsible citizen of the world, carries a call to action. Earlier, I invited you to notice and wonder about the root causes of violence. Take a moment and consider or propose peaceful alternatives to violence. Especially think about what violence or aggression you're exposed to, or maybe what happens around you. So this might be the establishment of a community which incorporates as well as transcends all diverse voices. Peace alternatives to violence at levels of humanity might also include utilizing restorative practices to heal disagreements and harm inflicted intentionally and unintentionally. It may also be examining techniques to seek peace within yourselves and others, and exploring how this can support worldwide peace. As you consider how violence, in its varied forms, affects you and your community, as well as the peaceful alternatives, set an intention for what you can do to support the creation of peace at different levels of humanity. This, in its essence, is being a responsible citizen of the world. We are grateful that you've taken the time to learn, think, and reflect about the peace action, be a responsible citizen of the world. We invite you to share how you are aligned to or implementing this peace action. You could send a picture, a note, or really any other artifact that shows how you are being a responsible citizen of the world. Send it to peaceactions@worldcitizenpeace.org. Take care.